Hey guys, what's going on? Hope everybody's been doing well. Want to provide a few updates again today on some recent sales data that I was going through and analyzing. Some updates, some upcoming things. So we're going to talk about some of the recent auctions. Also, a discovery in the sample card, different tiers and provenance of sample cards. So a few themes we talked about in the past, but new information keeps coming to light. So starting here, I'm showing the Philosopher's Stone. We just had a huge auction for the 1 of 10 copy you see in the lower left-hand corner here. This is number 1 of a series of 10 embellished prints that was done by Severin. I think I discussed this last time, but this was really unique and special. This was printed with this area completely removed, and this stone was completely repainted, recreated by Severin in acrylics with gold leaf accents. Those are kind of the dots you see here, and when you see that under light, it really flashes and reflects the light nicely and makes that really pop and make it feel like an original painting. So this is pretty special and unique. I can't say that I've seen this particular approach before. Certainly embellished prints have been done, and you'll see that in a more classical form with the elemental avatars. So Severin did 10 of each of the 4 elemental avatars. So we'll be auctioning the 1 of 10 and a 10 of 10 of those as well. But in this one, to completely paint and recreate an element of it is pretty unique and special. I've seen other instances where artwork was done completely digital. I've seen an artist like in the Magic, the Gathering realm, where they took a digital artwork, did a print, and did significant embellishments to make it feel like an original, and those have sold very well. So I'd say the elemental avatar is more comparable to that. Of course, it's an original painting, but the print for that one will have the classical embellishments that highlight features of the original artwork and nothing newly added. Whereas this one is kind of like a next level where this was completely repainted. So you have like kind of like an original painting element within the print. And then a nice border that Severin does, and her embossed stamp over here under her name and the date, and then also in the middle here, that's not embossed, but that's kind of like a part of her print where she has her initials. So this one, the 1 of 10 was auctioned, and it just closed last night, sold for $1,325, so that was a great success. The 10 of 10 is currently live for auction and ends at 8 p.m. Eastern tonight, as of the day of this recording, and that is currently at $750. So it's kind of following a similar approach where it had an initial surge in interest from several bidders, and then it usually comes down to the end, of who really wants it, and a couple folks bidding it up to make the final claim. So that's really great. And then the remainder, there's one that before I created my Patreon, I committed it to someone that I sold a few paintings for. At least first right of refusal. So if he likes the price and is still interested, he'll get to claim that one. But then the other 7 copies will be offered priority to the collector art house patrons. So they'll have first right of refusal from the higher tiers down to the lower tiers. And if we get to a tier level where there's more demand than copies available, we'll have to do a random lottery system to allocate those. But these are, as expected, huge demand. This has been coined the Black Lotus of Sorcery. It's an extremely powerful card. Everybody loves the artwork that I've ever talked to. This one really stands out and just feels like a big winner for the long term. This should do really well. All right, so that's the update for prints, and then we're going to go back to sample card auctions after that. I think I have 11 or 12 cards in hand ready to go, and a few other folks reaching out with potential interest to bring more. So a lot of auctions to come in the Facebook or in the Sorcery Contested Realm fan page and marketplace on Facebook, and then those are mirrored in the Collector Art House Discord, which I include in the notes for these videos. So go ahead and join those forums and help grow the community, and just follow along if you're not interested in purchasing these, or if you are interested, then yeah, of course, bid on that. So I want to go to sample cards. I've showed this. Let me start with the one I showed in the past. So There's different sources of sample cards. There's sample packs, and then there's pre-con decks. So the pre-constructed decks that are offered through Kickstarter. There were also sample test prints of those, and those were given to social media types like on YouTube from the company with the intent that they would show those off and display them and help grow awareness and reach for Sorcery. So there's only a few folks that we know for sure that have those, 4 that I know of for sure. So I've been selling some of those from those sources, and that's what these two on the right are. This is one of the pre-con deck sources, and then from a different source, another pre-cons, and you see that those are very similar, so you could tell that those were from the same print run. And then on the far left, these were the sample card packs that were given to Red Zone Rogue, and he opened those on his channel. So when I say silver packs, that means the art is not printed on the pack, and you see the distinct difference. So you know the provenance of these that look a little more golden, I guess I'd say. Excuse me, still recovering. Those are from the silver packs, and then these with the different color values around the back, those are from the pre-con decks. Now, the new discovery that I had is the company recently gave out an art pack, or at least the packs that Team Covenant were given. So those aren't the ones that I have in hand are not from Team Covenant, but they're from another person who received one of those art packs, and they wanted to sell some. They kept a few, wanted to sell the others. So what I'm going to show you here is a similar trend, where on the far left, you see this looks just like the previous view we had. The far left is from the art pack, and then on the right are the 2 pre-con sources. So again, you see this different color tone, and now this provides confirmation. I took this photo myself, by the way, so these are cards I have in hand, and I'm documenting this and sharing this with the public. I think this is a very valuable resource for everybody. As you receive sample cards, you can kind of gauge the provenance of these and see the 2 different tiers of where they came from. The pre-con decks, which were very limited, and we know only a few or a handful of people were given those, so those are all we know to exist out in the wild. And then the sample packs, we have the silver packs and then the art packs. The art packs, there was the box given to Team Covenant. There was, that I'm aware of, maybe a handful of one single pack that were given to other content creators of those same ones, like the Team Covenant ones that had the art design on the packs. And then the silver packs, we had the 12 packs that Red Zone Rogue received. And then in the Kickstarter, they've said that those will also be silver packs. So we'll get another 244 total packs that will be disseminated through the Kickstarter. So what this confirms is that the art pack cards are the same as the sample pack or the silver pack cards, and that was stated by the company. But here we have, photographic evidence that what that means is that they were probably printed at the same time or from the same printer, print file, all those types of things, because they look exactly the same. Let me flip between. So art pack currently being shown, and then silver pack. Art pack, silver pack. Look at the far left. Art pack, silver pack. So they're exactly the same. So the pop size might be a little larger for those. All cards from sample packs versus the pre-con decks. All right, so moving on from that, the next thing I wanted to show was some sales data. Let me go to the website first. I previewed this last time and said I would add pricing information. If you go to www.collectorarthouse.com, and then under Collector's Corner, there you go to this link for sample card collections, and that's the page I'm on now. It's not 100% complete, but these are most of the sales that have been done, that I have done through my Collector Art House platforms, the Discord and the Facebook page, and I've added the sale price for these. I'm not certain if I'm going to keep this up, so enjoy it for now. I think this is extremely valuable for the public to have this data and the price history. You could go out to the Facebook page, or you could join my Discord, and I archive those. You could go and search for that. But this is one nice consolidated area where you have that, and that'll give you like a basis for the valuation of these, or how they've been valued on the open market in auction format in the past. So I might take this down and make this Patreon exclusive. But I think for now it serves a great public service as there's been limited sales. Although I think I've done over 30 cards, 30 sample cards through auction. So we have a fairly nice sample size right now. There's only been I think a handful through eBay, so there's not a lot of sales data there. The preferred choice for the market right now is through the Facebook page and the Discord, which is great because I'm handling. My process is I have people send me the cards so I could authenticate. I'm not a grader or authenticator, but at least I could validate the quality. Take a look, and I could, if they say it's from the giveaway, I could go back and watch the video and confirm that that person, their lot of cards matches that source, and just ensure the quality of the card, that they're in good shape, and that also I can handle all of the logistics and make sure that they are shipped securely and safely packaged nicely. So the buyers who are spending a significant amount of money here are receiving that safely and have no worries when they make a payment that they're going to get their card and the quality as advertised. So anyway, just wanted to provide that update there that the sales records, the price, if it's a private sale, I did not disclose the price. I'm not disclosing who purchased these in any case, but just the price. So we have that price history. Now, if I go to my spreadsheet here, I collated this data here as well. I have all the sales that I've done through Collector Art House. You'll see the numbering is not sequential because I also have painting sales. I've done a lot of original paintings. So if folks are looking to sell original paintings, you could work with me through that, for that. And then also I work with artists directly to sell original paintings. I work with many of the artists for that, and will in the future when the Arthurian Legends paintings come out, or if there's anything new for the beta or revised set. And then also hand embellished prints, which I'm specializing in and working with the artists there to come up with cool creative ideas as the next best thing to the originals. The originals obviously are one of one. Only one person gets to own those. Eric, the creator of the game, owns a lot of those himself, so they were never available publicly. So it's really cool to have the artist do a hand embellished print and get that personal touch from the artist and their signature on there, and then they're also limited. So it's kind of special to have a 1 of 10 copy. But I regress anyway. I filtered these for just these sample cards and kind of just wanted to go through the price history and focus on this column G, number of bidders, right? So what I want to show here is kind of like the breadth of the market. That is an indicator in a way of the health of the market. It gives you an indication that in most cases it's not just like 1, 2, or 3 bidders, which would indicate maybe there's just a couple whales, who are kind of trying to be early to market with the expectation that the game's going to be successful and the market's going to grow. And on that point, the market's small right now. Like we've had the Kickstarter, it did very well. I think there were like 6,000-ish backers, something on that order, 6,000 and change. But that's pretty tiny. You look like any other major game, there's tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands, for Magic, millions of people in the market. So that is very, very tiny and niche. So the idea is when this game comes for public release, you'll have content creators like Rudy and others more active in getting the word out, and that'll spread very quickly. That'll grow the market, and then they'll discover these sample cards, and if there's demand for that, it could drive prices higher because the supply is small, and it's not growing. There's going to be 244 of the silver packs through the Kickstarter, so there'll be more out there at that time. But the company is not going to print more test cards of the alpha cards, so it's a very tiny population, especially at the exceptional, elite, and unique rarity levels. And even at the ordinary, there is 11 per pack, because then there's 3 exceptionals, and then the 15th card would be you get either an elite or a unique per pack. So it's not a massive sample size even at ordinary, and certainly at exceptional and above, it's very tiny, and you're not going to have a lot of duplicates of any given card. So going through the data here, again, getting back to the breadth of the market, you kind of see it ebbs and flows, right? And there's been as low as 2 in one case. There was only 2 for the Kite Archer, although it did very well. So that was a pretty desirable card, and also the Lone Tower only 2. But in most cases, you see 3, 4, 5 up to 9 bidders, which is pretty good for early days here, and given the valuation of these, I think there was like over 40, maybe 50-ish people on the Facebook group that expressed interest in samples, but very few have actually bid. And I gather the reason for that is the price point. I open these at $200 or $300 because there's always a buyer at that price point. It's kind of, I could open at $1 or $25, but it feels like, disingenuous to me because I know it's just going to get bid up immediately. Even when I've opened at 200, you see a bidder come in at 350, and then it kind of goes up from there. So I think 200 or 300 is a fair opening price because there's always a buyer at that price. So the market has dictated that that's reasonable. Regardless of rarity, the 300 is typically for the exceptional, elite, or unique, and then people bid it up based on the number of bidders and how badly they want the card. But you see pretty good breadth there. There's usually a handful of bidders competing for these, which is great to see. So there's a lot of interest across the market segments. And then just looking at the price history, it's been pretty interesting. Like you'd think there was a sale recently that was kind of an eye opener. The Royal Bodyguard is an elite, and that I'll say only sold for 425. It's still a lot of money. But it's an extremely, extremely rare card. To be an elite, we're probably only going to see, there could be less than 10 copies of those in the world, even after the Kickstarter is released. Like maybe the company has some packs they're holding on to, or even boxes of samples. I don't know why you'd sit on boxes of samples per se, because I think they're opening these to get a perception of the quality of the print. So there's not a lot of them. I assume there's not a lot laying around within the company, but nevertheless, we put that aside because they're not likely to go. They might give away some more. Like I think Simon mentioned, he might give away 15 cards to playtesters that have been very active and have been the heavy lifters in the playtesting campaign. But I don't think you're going to see booster boxes or many packs like dumped on the market in the future. And in fact, they've said that there's not more really to give out. It's going to be onesie twosies for special promotional campaigns, if anything. So what's out there is out there. Besides what's coming from the Kickstarter campaign, there'll be those additional 244 packs, and then that's it. So it's very small. You wouldn't expect the company insiders are just going to come sell them all someday, whatever they have internally. So, barring some small promotional type things, if anything. So anyway, that was like a small price, the 425 for the Royal Bodyguard compared to other elites and uniques. But we found that the market it seems to be kind of artwork sensitive, which is something you would not expect for sample cards, for cards in general. Usually it's about the power level or rarity. So to see something of that order of rarity, magnitude of rarity, go at that price was a little surprising. And you only had 3 bidders there, so there wasn't a lot of competition to bid it up. But you see, like, comparably, let me find a good example. Like even a kite archer, that's is that an ordinary? It's either an ordinary or an exceptional. Only 2 bidders, but that one for 550, so that went higher. We have a lot of exceptionals that did very well and went pretty high. So you see, let's see, what am I looking for? The Nightmare went for 1525. That was a elite, I believe. Some of the uniques, the Spear of Destiny was the first one we did. I called it Spear 1, and I think I just hit Spear 2. There was a second one that was sold privately. So I only want to show the auction sales here because I'm focusing on the breadth of bidders. So you go down, like the Ice Lance, if I remember correctly, is an exceptional that sold for $750 and had 5 bidders. So it's a very popular artwork. I think Brian Smith is a popular artist, so that did really well. And then we kicked off the Legend series with the Roaming Monster, and most of these did great. So these are like the really famous artists. Roaming Monster was done by Jeff Easley, who is a monster in the art community. Really big legendary artist that everybody knows. So his selling pretty well is no surprise. You got a Melissa Benson Plume Pegasus that went for $475. Ian Miller, hugely popular artist, $675. Margaret Organ Keene, The Observatory, $600. Jeff Menges with the Blizzard, $550. Anui Undine, $375 from Tony Sudlow. Enlarge was done by Alan Pollock, $375. Drew Tucker, huge icon from Magic, $1525 for the Nightmare. You got Menges again with the Midland Mercenaries for 375. The Waypoint Portal by Jeff Easley for 800. Jesse Pilkis, another great. He's not a Magic. He plays Magic, but he hasn't done artwork for Magic. But his style, he has this like great line technique style that Eric selected for that very reason. And his artwork is very popular. So 500 for his Headless Haunt. Dan Seagrave, heavy metal cover album artist, did a Nimbus Gin, and that went for 600. You have Adam Burke with the Peregrine Apparition, 400. Oh, here we go. Polar Explorers from Marta Molina. That was an elite. So there you go. That's an 800. So that did very well. And Marta is like an incredible artist, does magic altars. So she's like, even though she's not a conventional magic artist who has done, she hasn't done illustrations for magic cards, but she's a very popular and I guess I'll call it famous, very well known in the community. I would say in the MTG community for doing MTG altars. So very popular. Her altars are incredible, and her card did very well there. So let me jump to the Doomsday device. That was a unique one for 1375. The Avatar of Earth. Now the avatars are extremely rare because the company said those were only printed in the precon decks. So this is one from those precon decks. We only know of 4 sets that have been distributed. So someone got a potentially 1 of 4 pop card for 1800, which I think is pretty strong. If you believe in sorcery, if you believe in rarity, if you think the game's going to grow and there's going to be more awareness for sample cards and therefore more demand and price appreciation, then that might be a good price someday. Because there's, less than 5 pop is pretty nuts. But anyway, I digress. That's kind of like the data, kind of one to comb through. Showed that there's pretty solid breadth of the market. At one point it looked like, oh, you see the Kite Archer, 2 bidders, maybe people are fatigued. But boom, you got 8 for the Doomsday device, you got 9 for the Unland Angler, and that's a Drew Tucker exceptional or ordinary. I think it's an exceptional. 575, 9 bidders. So there's not fatigue, there's just particular interest for certain cards. And they're continuing to do well, and there'll be a lot more coming. So that's great to see early demand for sorcery, strong valuation for the rarest cards. It bodes well, I think, for alpha. We're going to see the foil cards; those will be the cream of the crop. Between those, maybe the curio cards, for true historians. But I think the chase will be the foil cards, and then on the back you'll have the full art. So those are going to look incredible. They're very rare to pull in packs. So those will be a high-end chase card. I expect I'll likely be auctioning those, and I offer consignment services. So as people get their product and want to sell, maybe to raise cash and buy other cards they need to complete a set or to play if they like blinging out their deck with samples or foil cards. Excuse me, yeah, foils is what I'm talking about in the mainstream alpha set. But I'm sure those will be available for auction after we see the release. So a lot to look forward to. I look forward to working more with artists to do the hand embellished prints, to sell their originals as more are introduced to the game and revealed. We'll be able to bring those to market. Maybe signature service. I don't know. I might do that through Patreon or if there's broader demand. I've also been flirting with the idea of playmats. Because there's a lot of opportunity there. There's a lot of great ones offered through the Kickstarter campaign, but a ton of artwork in this game, so and a lot of super popular ones that haven't been done as a playmat yet. So that might be an idea. But for now, there's a lot of sample cards coming through. There's a lot of Severin's artwork with the hand embellished prints to get through. First the Philosopher's Stone, and then I'll move on to the avatars. You might also, let me just add, join the Facebook group. I've been doing a couple of live streams in there, just kind of impromptu, unannounced, but then the file, the video saved on the Facebook page. You can go check it out afterward if you don't see it, if you don't see the notification immediately. But I'm using that as a mechanism to preview things just kind of on the fly. I do that with my iPhone. And then I'm going to I got a camera here. I'm going to do a video setup and start showing off cards more once I get that rolling. But some good information and data here. You see the market's strong, it's diverse, there's a lot of interest, good breadth and growing. There's been new bidders. Let me just add that these are not number of bids, it's number of bidders. So there's a number of unique bidders in that, and they're going back and forth. You might get 5, 10, 15 plus bids if it's a super popular card across 9 different bidders, like in this instance with the Unland Angler. Um, so it's pretty diverse, pretty strong, and it's growing. It's new names, new people, new interests, which shows growth. The Facebook group is really popping off. I opened that on February 7th of this year, and now here we are 7 months later, and it's at about 1150 members, 1,150, which is really incredible. I've been working hard to try to grow that, grow awareness for the community, and appreciate everybody that's been telling their friends and asking them to join up on the page. There's a lot of good conversation on there and auctions and things, and just whenever there's an update from the company or I get new information or insight, I post it there, and also in my Discord too. For people that don't use Facebook. And then, of course, content on my website, thecollectorarthouse.com, always adding new, interesting stuff there. I think last time I talked about a couple of the new behind the art features that I did. So I'm still active doing that, especially as we learn about new cards. I love talking to the artists and learning about how they came up with their design concept and the direction that Eric gave them. And then also interviews, and articles. Haven't done a lot of articles recently. I like doing these behind the art features because they're a little shorter. So I think people enjoy reading those, and it's really cool to hear about how the artist came up with the design concepts. But I am interested in continuing to do interviews. I have questions out to artists, so as they respond to me, I'll write those up and get the word out. But it's great hearing about the artist background as we're discovering new artists through this game. Collecting feels like collecting an art collection. You don't have to buy originals. You could buy prints. You could buy none of those, but just filling out your binder with these cards is going to feel like having an art collection. Especially if you could get your hands on a bunch of the foils, this is what it's going to look like. The back of the cards is going to be the full art. So imagine this being your binder, and you're flipping through, and you're seeing this beautiful artwork. This is on the Sorcery Art Gallery page. That's what it's going to look like, guys. It's going to be amazing. Got to find a way to with these. How do you deal with these landscape cards? I don't know. I guess they'll be. You got to tilt your head or something, or put those on a separate page or separate binder or something. But these full arts are going to be so awesome. Yeah, it's going to be a hard choice. I guess. I don't know. Maybe you get dual sided things, and you could look at the foil side and then the full art. I don't know, but it's going to look amazing regardless. To see all this artwork. All right, kind of ramble, kind of long there. That's all I got for today. Please like and subscribe and share with your friends. And thanks for following along. Take care, everybody. See ya.